Now, when working with Flutter, you will create custom widgets all the time. So it's important that you're able to do this on your own. Hence, here's your opportunity to practice this. I want you to create a separate new widget for this text part here. This should be outsourced into a separate widget, which you could, for example, name styled text, which you then use in this widget here, in the gradient container again. Create that custom widget for this styled text as explained in the last lectures, and after a short pause, which I give you to pause this video and try this on your own, we'll outsource this into a custom widget together. Did you succeed? Let's now do this together. For that, I'll first of all create a new file, because you learned that you should put your own widgets into separate files in that lib folder. And I'll name it styled_text, because I will add a styled text widget in there. Styled text.dart it is, therefore. And then in there, we create a class, and I'll name it styled text. The name is up to you, but it should follow these conventions about which you learned. And we of course extend stateless widget here, though for this to work, you also must add the import to package flutter material.dart as you learned. Now with that set up, we must add that build method by adding override and then widget build, accepting this context parameter and returning a widget as you learned. And the widget that should be returned here should of course be this text here. So we can cut this from gradient container and return this here instead of styled text. Now here I got a bunch of blue squiggly lines because indeed here we can now add const again, as you learned if you hover over these blue squiggly lines, since this can be cached. This is, by the way, independent from the fact whether we add a const constructor to this widget or not. This optimization in this widget tree is detached from the fact if we unlock this widget for being optimized itself. But of course here we should add a constructor for the same reason as before, to forward that key argument about which you learned. Hence I create a constructor by repeating that name of the class, and then here opening and closing curly braces to accept an argument named key. And with super.key, we then forward this to stateless widget. And here we should now also add const, since this is suggested to us here to unlock various optimizations by Dart. And with that, we have our styled text widget defined. We can now use it in gradient container. There we can type styled text and use it like this. But of course, to unlock it here, we also must add an import in the gradient container.dart file. Here we must import from our own package, in my case named basics, in your case maybe named first app, or anything else, whatever you named your project. And then here I want to import from the styled text.dart file. With that, with this import added, this styled text widget down here is found. So this here works, and if I save everything and force a reload, my application still works. And this was a nice practice for creating your own widgets.